Yo, what's up? This is LOSKO PROJECTZ. I'm your host, Nathaniel. And we got a real special guest today. His name is Minh Dang. Did I say that right? And he is the owner of American Cream Company. He's a real good dude. Ever since I met him, he's been nothing but positive reinforcement for my show. He's always telling me, giving me tips and just doing stuff for, my show. And he's an amazing dude. And I'm glad to have him on.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it,
man.
Yeah, this dude's sick, man. But you don't like to show his face too much. I know that.
Right.
He's behind the scenes, American Cream. But we'll start from the beginning. Where did you grow up, and how was skateboarding like? How'd you get influenced by skateboarding?
Well, before I start with that, I just want to say I appreciate what you're doing. You're creating a great service for the people that don't know about the history of Sacramento and the skateboarding in Sacramento. Just watching all those interviews that you've done with Matt and Rafter, Landy and Mako and those guys really made me appreciate, what the Sacramento community has been through. But going back to where I started, I think it was around 1981. I think I was like in the first grade. And I had never seen or heard of a skateboard before, ever. Okay. And the first time I saw it was my friend who lived up the street, a couple houses up. I was hanging out front, and he just comes flying down the sidewalk, kneeboarding.
Oh, kneeboarding.
And he just carved into the driveway. And
you were like, holy shit.
I was like, dude, what is that? He goes, that's a skateboard. And, I had never seen it in a picture, heard the word skateboard. And I was like, can I try it? Because when I saw it, being a kid, to me, the only way I can describe it was it looked like a Hot Wheel car that you could ride on.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, now I'm
exciting.
mobile.
Yeah, it was exciting looking. You can go somewhere with it.
So,
awesome.
So it was, I believe it was called a Green Tech, like a old school brand, plastic banana board style, And he let me borrow it. It was probably maybe only a couple weeks, but it felt like I had it for an eternity because it felt like it was mine. I'm like, this is my board, because I was riding it every day, just butt boarding and
Did
boarding.
he let you have it at some point, or just
no? His mom made him come take it back, and I was so bummed. I was kind of offended because I was like, dude, what do you mean? This is mine. You know what I mean?
I've been on this for a while.
So his mom made him come take it back. I was bummed out, and then my grandma, she lived with us at the time. Okay. And she saw how bummed out I was, so she took me and my sister to Toys R Us.
Oh, okay.
And they had boards there, But when we went in there was like a bunch of these blue plastic boards. They're called Freeformer. Was a brand. I think it was a brand from the 70s,
Oh, okay.
But they were still making stuff in the 80s, and it was literally that big. With it wasn't even a banana board. It was like two tiny little kicktails, like a little whoop,
Oh, shit, okay.
And
were they cheap?
I guess, or at Toys R Us, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was like, no, I don't think they're real boards.
But there was one banana board, a pointy nose and then a kicktail, and one that was yellow with red wheels. And me and my sister were kind of fighting over it because that was the flashy one,
Okay. Like you wanted that.
And then we're fighting over it, and then she felt bad. She was like, all right, you could have it. And then I felt bad, that she didn't have it, so we both just got a blue Freeformer.
Okay. Oh, you both got it?
Yeah, we both just got the same crappy blue one, whatever. But I rode that thing forever, And then I was just riding it, and then at some point, I had a buddy who I still talk to every now and then, who lived up the street. His name was Dave Neal. He's actually a pretty well-known piercer. Does piercings here in Sacramento. And his older brother, Donnie Neal, I think goes by the name of Whitey. He does tattooing, I think, American Graffiti tattoo.
Oh, okay.
He's been around. But they introduced me to skateboarding on the next level. Oh, you know what I mean? I feel I was fortunate on the way that skateboarding was introduced to me. I saw it for the first time, never hearing of it.
Yeah.
Saw the skateboard.
And these guys showed you, hey, this is how it really is.
Well, one day Dave comes down to the house, and he's riding a big Veriflex, a regular size board.
And you're
you
like,
know,
dude,
and he had some rat bones and some indies, I believe. And I was like, dude, what is that? It was like a Cadillac, you know, and it was like just floating.
It's like way bigger than the one you had.
Yeah, I was like, dude, can I ride that? And like my legs fit on it, you know, like I'm just sitting on it, my whole body on it. I'm like, dude, this is so sick. And their dad owned a sporting goods store in the Bay Area, so that's how they got that.
They got hooked up by it.
And then like my goal was to get one. I didn't know how, but I just like was just, you know, wanting one so bad. And then, you know, down the road, someone was selling a board for like $5, and I didn't have any money. I was like, what, maybe like 11 or something like that, 11 or 12. And my brother had $5, and he let me have it to get that board. And it was spray painted. It didn't even have real grip tape on it. It had like little strips, bacon strips for
but you're like,
grip
this,
tape on it.
you're like, this is way
and
better.
I was like, I don't care, man. It's like a wide board. Everyone was saying it was a Santa Cruz. I had no idea what that was. It came with Kryptonic.
I don't care.
It came with Kryptonic wheels and then some stage 4s.
You're like, this is badass.
And then and everyone was like, dude, you got Kryptonics, blah blah. I was like, okay, you know. And then so from there, I was riding that, and then Donnie Whitey Neal, he had a Neal blender. It was the GNS Neal blender with the snake going through the drain.
Oh, okay.
And he was selling the deck with no grip tape, and they were using that board to skimboard in the swimming pool, so that thing was like waterlogged. It was all split open up and stuff, but I was like, I don't care, I'll take it. You know, and I rode that thing for like a year with no grip tape. I just got used to not having grip tape, you know. And then I started seeing like around in my neighborhood, skateboarding was big amongst rockers, you know, like
like
just
punk
full
rockers.
blown, just full on like Metallica rockers, you know, and you know, with denim jacket with like the patch on the back,
thrash
you know?
metal type of people.
Yeah, you know, and they were, and the big thing was like Paolo back then, like Caballero, that and the Ripper, you know. And I would see that, and I'm like, dude, I gotta get one of those. I want the Caballero. I want the Caballero. I would see dudes with it all the time. And then back then, my mom and dad, they own a manicure shop, and there was a supply place in Carmichael that my mom and dad would go to get, you know, the supplies for that. And right next to it was a skate shop called Go Skate, and I didn't know anything about it. My brothers just go, "Hey, there's a skate shop," and I was like, "What?"
That's where Steve-O worked and all the different inmates.
So I walk in there, and I had no idea that there was like a skateboard world. I just thought there was just skateboards.
So it just opened your eyes into like, holy.
And I was like, what? I saw the Skull and Sword Powell. I saw that Caballero. You know, I was like, what is a Caballero? I didn't know that there were people. I didn't know that they were named after people.
Straight amazed, huh?
And I was like, there it is, dude. There's on the wall. It was just like everything was just so like just premium. It seemed like it was a secret spot. Like I went through the portal. You know, and I found a secret. You know. And then so I was like, dude, I gotta get one. And they were the decks were like $45 back in the 80s. You know, like they're still expensive now. They're not still around $45 to $50. But back then,
that was a
I was
lot.
like, there's no way. I think I gotta steal one. You know, like so.
I was buying stuff for $5.
So I was saving up money for like birthdays and Christmas for I don't know how long. You know, it was like over a year of me saving up money. You know, and then finally I was like, dude, I have enough. Asked my dad to take me there. I walked in there, didn't even look around. I walked out. I was like, I want to order a Caballero right now. You know, like I was like, just give me a cab. I have enough. And then they were like, you want grip tape with that? And I was like, what? It doesn't come with grip tape? And they were like, it's $10.
Damn, you
I was like, $10. I was like, I didn't have it. You know, I was like, dude. So my dad like bought me the grip tape,
nice.
And I was like, no way. And they were like, they went to go put it on. I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna install.
So did you already have the trucks and the wheels and everything?
I had it from the $5 setup,
from the old
you know.
one, okay.
And so now I'm standing there waiting for them. Like I'm like, dude, they're installing my grip tape right now.
Dude, that was the Ripper with the thing was my with the knife was my first board.
Oh really?
My brother gave it to me, and I skated that thing, and that was my first board, man. So
yeah, dude, there was no graphics like that back then. They were so sick, you know.
Yeah, super
and
sick.
Then
Still sick.
At the time, though, like the cab that I saw was like the original Caballero Dragon, and it said Caballero at the bottom, you know, this way.
Yeah.
But at the time, the new Caballero came out. I think it was 1986, and it was the Dragon coming out like that.
Yeah.
And when he gave it to me, I was like, it said Caballero, but it wasn't the one that I was wanting all these years, you know?
Yeah.
And then so I got home and I was like, dude, I think he sold me a fake one, a knockoff, because
you
know, back then new graphics weren't new. You'd ride the same graphic for years, you know.
You didn't know. You just.
So I was all bummed out. I was like, dude, sick to my stomach. I was like, dude, they tricked me. They sold me a fake one, and then went out skating, and people were like, dude, you got the new Caballero? I was like, yeah, I got the new one, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
and then that from there, you know, I just started riding it, and at around that same time, I started to learn about the ollie and stuff like that, you know. And my buddy comes over. His name's Bobby Beecham. He had a Hosoi. It was called a street model. It was like a different graphic on it, you know. And he was like, "Can you ollie?" I was like, "What's an ollie?" And he showed me, and I was like, dude, you just levitated, you know, like, I was like, no hands. I was like, dude, how do you do that? And he showed me, and I couldn't do it, but, you know, I tried for, I don't know how long. I smashed down a soda can, you know, and like tried to ollie it and stuff, and then one day, I ollied, and it didn't hit, and I turned back around. I was like, dude, it didn't move. I think I ollied over it, you know, and then from then on, I was hooked. I was like, I got to stick with skateboarding to see what happens, you know, like, I was like, nobody sees it, but this is the thing. This is it. Yeah, it was life.
Yeah, my brother got me into skateboarding, man. He gave me a board, and I was skating. And he went to the military, and he was like, dude, just skate. And I fell in love with it. Like, I didn't know I was gonna like fall.
Easy to do.
Yeah, I didn't know I was gonna fall in love with skateboarding until he left, and then I was just like, I jumped off everything. I tried to just do everything with that board, man. And then my dad made me a shitty board without grip tape.
Right.
And it got ran over.
Right.
and then I got another board later on, and then my brother's, who was it? My brother's girlfriend's, I guess, I think his sister, was it sister? Or her brother, whatever, was working for Dogtown.
Oh, nice.
So I guess they told them about me. So they sent me a box from Dogtown. I never seen a box before, and they came in, and my mom was like, "Oh, there's a big old box."
Christmas.
Dude, I opened it, and I looked. I went, "What is this? This is crazy."
Oh, your brain couldn't handle it.
Oh, my brain couldn't handle it. I had trucks in there. I had wheels. I had bearings. I had like 3 or 4 sets of Dogtown wheels, and I was just like,
"You're like, dude, I made it."
Yeah, this is it. I was like, "What is this?" And he had shirts in there, shorts, Dogtown shorts, shirts. And I was like, oh my God. I even sold some wheels to a kid because like over there it was real ghetto. And like, you know, it was real hood over there in North Sacramento, and they didn't have shit. And this kid wanted to skate, and he had a board without the wheels. So I gave him bearings and wheels. I was like, this is
good for you. Help a brother out, you know?
I know, right? That's what he does right now. He's helping everybody out. But yeah.
I try to do, you know, what I can when I can. But so, and then I had a buddy I went to school with. And he had 2 completes, dude. Like, he bought them brand new. Like, he had one Mike McGill with tracker trucks and the coping, the copers. Those copers were like $30 easily. You know, he had some rat bones, had a lapper, nose guard, you know, skid plate, rails, all that stuff, you know. But he had a slider bar. We went over there one time, and that was when I realized how hard skateboarding really is, because I was like, dude, I'm going to 50-50 on this. And I couldn't get my back truck up on there. Like, it was super scary, you know.
Yeah,
but anyways,
you can maybe get the front truck on, but
yeah, you're not realizing how much your body, like, how be conscious of your body and your center of gravity.
You have
and all
to be
that
balanced
stuff,
and everything, yeah.
You know, but anyway, so we go in his house, and he had Thrasher magazines and Transworld, and I didn't even know that there was
this is all new
magazines.
Still.
You know, I didn't know that there was like people that do it. You know. And I'm still tripping off of just the ollie alone, you know? And so I open up the magazine, and one of the first pages I flip through is Mark Gonzalez ollieing this swimming pool, empty swimming pool in I think it's in Texas. It's kind of like a peanut shape where it comes in the middle like that, you know? And he's ollieing it, and I was like, dude,
He's like,
who's this madman?
Yeah.
There's like,
He's like
the
flying.
street skating was
Yeah.
really still new back then.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
mainly just Nodis and Gons.
Yeah.
They were really making street skating like street tricks
Yeah,
instead of doing
for
like
sure.
vert tricks on street.
Because vert was
you know?
big. Vert was
Yeah,
huge.
you know, they weren't doing like just street plans. They were like taking it to the next level. And I was blown up. I was like, dude, how is this guy? How is he in the air and this, you know, this cavern he's going over? You know, like it just blew my mind. I was like, okay, yeah, I knew this was like skateboarding was the life. I just knew it. You know what I mean? I was like, no matter what happens, I have to stick with this. I have to follow this just to see where it's going. You know, and then from there, I just really got into it, and then as time went by, like even back then, I was very new to skateboarding, and a buddy. It seemed like everyone else knew about skateboarding more than I did.
Yeah.
You know, like I heard of, like I had people telling me like Sam Cunningham, one of the first names that I heard. Like Tony Hawk and Tony Hawk and Lance Mountain and Sam Cunningham were like the names that I kept
When
hearing.
was like your first time when you saw like the like videos, VHS? When you were like, what?
Animal Chin.
Animal Chin. Okay.
I think it was like maybe 87.
Were you blown away when you were watching it, or were you just like?
I was more blown away the fact that I could see like Lance Mountain and Tony Hawk and Cab talking and stuff. Like they were like actual people. You know what I mean?
Instead of just graphics.
Like, cause the tricks, I didn't even understand the tricks until like years when I like a couple years later to really understood. Oh, that was Tony Hawk did a 720 and landed standing up. You know, like face high,
So
fakey
hard.
ollies. You know, stuff like that. It was just all looked cool, but I didn't know why it looked cool. It just looked cool. I didn't understand the difficulty or the skill in it. You know, but
that it was so damn hard.
yeah. You know,
All that stuff
but
they're doing.
just the whole thing of the theatrics of it being a movie.
Yeah.
So it's not just photos, you know, like I could just see them talking and stuff. It was really cool. And it just made me love skateboarding even more. And then it wasn't until like junior high was when I really got an understanding of how big skateboarding was, because I grew up in the North Highlands area, you know, but I went to school at Foothill.
Okay.
And so when I went there first day of school, it was like everyone skated, like every guy skated, you know, and I was like,
So it's popular as hell.
yeah, you know, and it was super popular. Like the summer before that, like it was only a few of us skating in my neighborhood, and we skated at Highlands. That was a really good place to skate, and there was a elementary school across the street called Hillsdale. We were going to skate up at Highlands one day, and I saw this guy skating over in the parking lot by himself, and I was like, let's go check this guy out, you know. And I go over there, and it turns out it's Hairball, Aaron Harrison. This is before he was Hairball. Like we were like maybe 12 or 13 at that time,
you
you
were
know.
young still.
But I see him skating, so I go up there to check to see what this guy has, you know. Little did I know he had a lot, you know. Like he was the one of the first people, if not the first. It was between him and Jim Thiebaud, because I saw Jim Thiebaud at a demo when he was amateur for Powell. Him and Jesse Martinez, you know. Between him and Aaron, the first kickflip I've seen in person, and Hairball was skating a Steve Stedham Sure Grip International board, is a green board. He had like Vision Streetwear, Vision Streetwear pants,
Very old school.
the shoes. He had this long, super long McSqueeb haircut, you know, the bang that was like past his face, and he did a kickflip. And you know, I was a pretty shy kid at the time. I didn't talk to people I didn't know, but when he did the kickflip, I was like, "Hey, do that again!" You know, because I was blown away.
Like, oh,
I was like, a real kickflip done in front of my face, and he goes, "Bam!" Kickflips it again. I was like, "Oh my god!" It's so possible. They're like, it flipped.
It flipped and he landed.
I was like, dude, skateboard. You know, he was doing like Russian bonelesses. He was doing like really high fakey ollies, and he was ollieing like 2 sidewalk squares. Like he's full on doing a demo for me,
just
like
blasting for you, and you're just like amazed
and
at
I was
everything
like,
you
what?
did.
And so his mom comes out. His mom and his brother come out, and they get in the car and they drive off. And I was like, dude, who was that? You know, I was like, dude, that was like, he was like the masked Avenger. You know, just came out, blew my mind, and just rode off in the sunset.
like,
you know,
who was that?
I was like, dude, where is that? I have to know this guy. You know.
How old was he then?
12 or 13. I think he's like a year older than me.
Oh, okay.
But we're like the same grade level, you know. But I didn't know it at the time. And then so the next year was junior high, and then I go to Foothill, which wasn't in my school district, but it was a better school. And my mom rigged it to where I can go to that school. And first day of school was like hell of skateboarders everywhere. And then in the hallways, I see Hairball. And I was like, that's the dude! I was like, that's the dude!
Like, you gotta go talk to him?
So my hero.
Did you go talk to him?
Hell no, dude!
Like,
I was like, that's the dude, you know? That's like Batman. I'm not gonna go up and say something to him.
Yeah.
But, and then I was like, dude, okay.
Did you bring your board to school and stuff, or?
That wasn't allowed back then.
Oh, it wasn't allowed back then? Okay.
Skateboarding was really, really
still,
bad. Skateboarding was hated by everybody. Like, you're even hated by bums. You know what I mean? Like, we were below their level.
Yeah,
you
it
know
was like
what
the
I mean?
uncool thing to do, like back then. Yeah,
it was really bad. Like, definitely, you couldn't bring it. If you brought your skateboard to school, it would get taken. Yeah, they would take it from you. Yeah, there was no way you would.
Yeah. See, I went to school where I
you'd
could
have to
bring
stash it. You know.
Yeah.
You'd have to bring it in a duffel bag and then stash it, which is what we did. Like on minimum days, we would stash the board. Someone would have a duffel bag. We'd all put it in there, stash it, and then we would take the light rail downtown, and that would be like our place to skate.
Oh shit!
You know, but I'll get to that. You know, I'm trying to be like chronological.
Yeah, in order, try to go into the years and stuff. This is dope.
But so I saw Aaron Harrison. I was like, dude, that's the guy. And then like later in the day, I had him in one of my classes, and I sat in the back. And I was like, dude, there he is. He's just sitting there. Look at him. I was like, dude. I was like, he's so cool. And then I was like, look at him. He doesn't even talk. He's just sitting there, you know. And then the teacher asked the question.
Was he wearing skate stuff?
Yeah. Oh, dude, everyone's wearing skate stuff. You know. And then like the teacher asked the question, and he raised his hand and answered. And I was like, no way, dude. He talks. Dude. He talks. I was like, I'm gonna talk too. You know, I'm doing whatever this guy does.
Yeah, whatever he does is cool.
And then like I thought.
Straight mocking him and shit.
You know, and I thought I was just like a fan of skateboarding, like everything about skateboarding.
So you were basically just like a little sponge.
Yeah, you know, I just wanted to be around it. You know, I loved everything about it. You know, just the look, everything. And then one day, walking up to school, I get dropped off. You know, like dudes are just hanging out. You know, before school starts, just having a good time. And Aaron runs up to me. He's like, "Man, come over here!" Blah blah. And I was like, "Dude, he knows my name." And he like we're hanging out. I was like sick, you know. And then from that point on, we just started skating together. And then
was he teaching you too on a way like what to do? Or?
No, like I just like he was like on his own level. I was like, you know, I'm just trying to learn, but
like
I just want to skate with people. You know what I mean? Like I want to skate with people that are serious because I was serious too. And then we just became friends. You know, and then through that I just started meeting other people along the way. You know, and that was in junior high. And then, you know, I was playing soccer before then. That was like kind of the sport that I was kind of into, that I was able to do. And I was supposed to sign up again, but then I heard on the radio, my brother told me on the radio that there was a demo at Sunrise Mall. And so I go to that, and there's just a sea of people. I was like, dude, what? Yeah, this is just crazy to me.
You saw the ramps and everything. You were like,
oh yeah, but when I got there too late, it was like closing down. But it was a demo that Nadas was at.
Oh damn, that'd have been.
Now I don't know if you ever saw that documentary, the Steve Rocco documentary, the man who sold the world.
No.
Anyways, I think it was in that one where there was a documentary where Gino talks about him holding up the fun box that they set on its side, and Gino was one of the people holding it up. And
when he was little?
And Nadas was board sliding it off a ramp, which no one was. This is in the 80s.
Yeah, they didn't do that.
You don't do that. You know what I mean?
Street style, anyways. Yeah.
Nadas was doing that. Did that here at this demo. Turned the ramp or the box up on its side, and board slid it. And I guess he was just going across the U.S. just turning over people's boxes and board sliding it. You know, and I was just blown away to just like just the look of boards, like the people and all that stuff, you know. And I was like, you know what? I'm glad I didn't sign up for soccer. I'm glad I came to this, you know.
Like just straight
and then from that
skateboarding
point on, I was just skateboarder. Like I didn't care what anyone thought. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm following this. I have to know what's going on about this thing, you know. Like I was just curious as to where it was going to go, how big it was going to get. I knew it was going to be the way that it is now. I just knew it, you know. And then, so we transitioned into high school, and by that point, like skateboarding's already, street skating was like just doing its thing.
Oh, so that was like 90s, like early 90s?
Yeah, early 90s, and then that's when through Hairball I linked up with Patrick Ertz. He had a ramp. In North Highlands, and back then ramps were really, really rare. And he had a ramp. We skated a ramp before that. A friend of ours, Gary Freeman, had one, but it was like a 4 foot high, 12 foot wide. Ped's was 5 feet high and 16 feet wide. It had an extra ply, which that was like really rare too. And we're like, dude, that's like the widest you can get. You know what I mean? Like for a backyard ramp.
Yeah.
And so we skated that a lot. I had a ramp, but my dad built this ramp. It was my friend provided the wood because his dad wouldn't let him build it in his backyard, so we did it in my backyard with his.
Was it a small, like really small?
Dude, it was really small, 8 feet wide, 5 feet tall. But my dad did the transitions from the Thrasher ramp plans, and he did the transitions while I was at school. And he was reading on the wrong part, and he read the plans for the vert ramp.
Oh my
so
god!
I had like I'm not kidding, like 6 inches of true vert.
It was straight up.
Yeah. So it was like, you know, like it was super fast,
so
and it, like you'd have to skate it every day to get used to where you could skate it like a regular ramp. Like I skated it no problem, but people came on the skate, they couldn't do it, you know.
Yeah.
But that's how I learned vert tricks, was because I had a 5 foot vert ramp.
Yeah, so you had to
do it. I
it.
learned how to leg grab on it. I learned how to do inverts and stuff on it, you know. I couldn't quite get my hand fully on the coping. You know, I wasn't that ballsy. But, you know, I learned like a lot of transition tricks on that. And then, you know, Ped got his ramp up, and we would skate street, and then we'd go skate his ramp all the time. That's where we spent most of our time. That's where I learned like a lot of my transition tricks, you know. And since that was such a rare ramp, like people would stop through there all the time, you know, like I met Jeff Tolan through Ped. Because, you know, the community was really small back then, so it's like if you skated, you're going to come across the path of someone, you know. And then so we skated with Tolan a lot, and then, you know, he got on Powell, and that was like a major big deal, like knowing someone that was riding for Powell, like not just anyone got on Powell back then. And like he was like the first glimpse that I saw where like, oh, someone from around here can actually break through, you know. And then I remember one day Tolan comes over, you know, he's always had a fatty chew dip in his lip, you know. And he comes over one day and he brings this guy with him, and no one had seen or heard of this guy before, and he just like, it was like he brought over a pit bull and just sicked this pit bull on us. He goes, "Get him, John." And it turns out it was John Cardiel.
Oh my god.
And he just drops in.
How old was he?
I don't know. I was
15, 16?
He probably, because I was probably like 14, 15. So he was probably like 15, 16, something like that. He was a little bit older than us, but not much.
That's when,
you know, but he dropped in and he like just annihilated the ramp like I've never seen anyone before in person, you know, like totally just shut it down. Like I was definitely intimidated. I was like, my brain couldn't handle it, you know, like,
Cardiel. Shout out to Cardiel.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Like, major bricklayer, you know, like like the only way I could describe it was he shattered our dreams and inspired us at the same time. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like he came there to like show us up.
Oh, no.
It was
That's
like,
the way he skated.
No, he was like,
that was the way he skated.
You got a ramp? I get to skate it? All right, here we go. And he's like, I'm going to do everything on this right now. Like crail slides from end to end, like melancholy methods, like chest high on the extension.
Backside disasters.
Miller flips. Like he was trying crazy stuff, like trying 1 foot indie grabs to fakie, like which would be equivalent to like trying to kickflip indie grab, you know, back then. Like just, yeah, so John was just annihilating the ramp like we've never seen before. Like I don't even know who skated who dropped in after he was done. But we were like awestruck. I remember Hairball looked at me and he goes, "That guy's gonna be pro." And like I think like within a year he turned pro. Like I think for like Dogtown.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, so this was in 90, 91?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Very early '90s.
Yeah.
You know.
He was on Dogtown real quick.
You know, and that's what I think it's amazing that people like John are still loved by the skateboarding community.
Love John, dude.
Like for the people who didn't get to see John skate,
you missed out.
It was like nothing. The most like very pure skateboard. I've never seen someone that no matter what level he reached in skateboarding, he was always so stoked to skate. He never took it for granted. He was always like a skate rat. Always wanted to just go conquer. That was his deal. He was just out there to slay the beast, you know, all the time.
That's what just motivated people around him to skate too. Harder,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
You see someone like that, even when like a regular skate session. Cardiel was like one of those people. I saw him back in '95.
Right.
At the grind.
Right.
When I first saw Cardiel, I was amazed. I was sitting down. I was a little kid, dude. I was only maybe 5th grade, and I was just seeing him, and I asked around. I was like, "Who is that guy?" And they're like, "Oh, that's Cardiel, dude." I'm like.
And you know, the stuff that he was doing back then, you know, like I'd rather talk about these guys and talk about myself. I'm trying to show you what I was lucky enough to see being a young kid, being lucky enough to have skateboarding, the skateboarding entity allow me to be a part of it and be able to see skateboarding being molded and grow from these people who had a hand in molding it, you know.
When everything was still newish, you know.
It was still very new. And then, you know, everything that he was doing was just for the sake of doing good skateboarding. It was for nothing more than that, you know. And you can tell by watching him, and the stuff he was doing at a time when skateboarding was more technical, because it was just new tricks were just coming out, so that kind of became the predominant thing, was like tech skating. What's the cool tricks to do? But when you skate at the level like John, where it's just gnarly and no one has the balls to even try it, it's in a category of its own, where you're like, okay, that dude's untouchable. Just leave him over there. We'll just go back and try to do this stuff. But we'll watch him from afar, because if you get too close, you're gonna get hurt.
We'll do a little kickflip while he blasts air.
You know, you just let him do that because he was meant for that job, and there's only one person needed for that. You know, and then from there. Which I thought was cool when you did the interview with Mako, was I met Mako through Ped too, you know, because he ended up living with Ped for a while. And when I first heard of him coming into town, I don't know if people remember this, but he was everyone called him Sticky. And I didn't know who they're talking. They're like, Sticky's in town, Sticky lives here, Sticky did this. And I was like, why do they call him Sticky? And I don't remember who told me, but they were like, because he sticks everything. He sticks all his tricks, you know? Because, you know, Mako was really a really consistent skateboarder.
Definitely.
Back in a time where it was okay to, like, take 40 tries to land a trick, because everything was so new. The fact that you landed it once was just amazing enough.
No, but he was amazing.
You know, but he was really good at being consistent, which was really rare back then too. And so through that, through Ped, I was just became friends with Mako too, because I was a skate rat. You know, I skated with anyone that was down to skate, and the ramp was like the place to go in Ped's backyard. And seeing like all the stuff that Mako was doing, like we were more street oriented a little bit, even though I liked mini ramp and stuff, you know. But like I would learn stuff on ramp from Mako.
Because Mako, he would bring street stuff onto the ramp too. Because when I used to watch him, I was just like
kickflip 5-0s,
for sure,
nollie flip back tail,
360 flip, freaking tail grabs, so high. He would do them at the grind, and he would do them like 5 or 6 feet up. Just blast.
Oh yeah, he
just grab it. I'm like, oh
like
my
a Benny
god.
Hanna, you know, because he's so airborne.
Yeah, really short hair then. Yeah.
You know, and then somewhere along the line, you know, I got really close to skating with Mako, and then he ended up living with his girlfriend Linda in North Highlands. So we were very close, and we skated. We skated a lot until at some point Mako had broken his leg, and I hadn't seen him for days, you know. So I just ended up gravitating, skating up in Citrus Heights because the skate scene was
still going on.
There. You know, I'm bouncing around a little. I'm trying to stay around that same timeline.
It's all good, man. It's bounce around.
You know,
okay.
but
it's awesome. This is history, man.
I skated in Citrus Heights a lot. Skated with my friend Cameron Johnson, which was amazing skateboarder. He was like a mixture of like Jeremy Ray, Chris Markovich, with some effortless stuff, like kind of like Gino, where like they didn't look like they were trying as hard.
But it was hard.
You know, yeah. You know, and then skating with this guy named Chris Martinez, super ripper, way ahead of his time. But over the years of skating there, you know, I met Chad Lunsford, and I skated with him a lot, with Chad and Rabin. We skated with each other a lot, and I was around the same time was when I met Brandon Biebel.
Okay. Young kid, when he was young?
Super young, because I remember one day, this was a little while, I think it was a little bit before Mako broke his leg. But he came back from the park one day. He was like, dude, there's some kid there where he's super sick. He's like landing hella tricks, but he's like doing like tricks that we do, like hard tricks, you know? And one day I go to the park and I see him. I was like, that's the kid Mako's talking about. I know it, you know? And Brandon's just like doing like...
Just rifling off tricks?
First try 3 times in a row. First try 3 times in a row. All of his tricks, you know? I was like, dude, that's that kid, you know? And we just kind of had a mutual respect, you know, skating around each other. Then... I don't know, somehow I linked up with Brandon. We were skating with each other a lot for a while because, you know, where I was at I was closer to Citrus Heights than I was downtown.
Yeah.
Chad Lunsford lived in Citrus Heights. Rabin lived in Citrus Heights, so I would roll up there and we would skate. And when I first started skating with Brandon a lot, the first session I remember we're at Bella Vista. And there's these little ledges, curbs up against the wall in the hallways. And straight out of the car, Brandon rolls up and locks into a kickflip backside tail slide. And he just steps off his board. And I was like, I think he kind of got lucky on that.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
But did he do it again and then land it?
Of course. And then after a while, I was like, I don't think he's getting lucky. I think he's just that good.
Yeah.
You know, and then we're just skating. And then we skate the stairs and like, he had a knack for his doing stuff downstairs because that stuff was first try 3 times in a row.
God.
First try 3 times in a row. You know?
Talented.
And I was just like, damn, dude, this kid's hella good. And then I was like, okay. And then as we're skating, you know, like I just noticing like he's getting better and better and better. Like he would learn like literally like 2-3 tricks a day. You know, and there'd be a time where I wouldn't see him for like a few days, and then I'd link back up with him, and he would skate with this guy named Miles who had a camera, and he would he'd have like 4 new tricks on and filmed it too. Not just learn it, but you gotta film, you know, because when he learned it, it was learned. It wasn't like a fluke. When he learned it, it was dialed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was like bolts.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, you know, just skated with him a lot, and from there, once I saw that he was progressing quickly, and then I think it was like on Legend at the time, and then
Corey.
I remember
shout out to Corey and Legend.
Oh, for sure, yeah, you got to get him on here too.
Dude, for sure, Corey.
Definitely been around forever, but Brandon got hooked up with ATM, and at the time,
ATM Click.
yeah, at the time, and then we were skating together a lot. Like Brandon tripped me out. He had so much energy. Like I remember going to pick him up at his dad's apartment. I would go to pick him up, and he was getting dropped off by a group of skateboarders because he woke up like at 6 a.m. and went skating.
Oh, okay. So he's like double.
So he's already done with one session.
He's already warmed up.
Link up with me and Chad, and we'd go out session. When I'd go drop him off, there'd be another carload of guys picking him up from that session. So he's on his 3rd win. And that's how you're accumulating tricks like that.
Oh, for
you
sure.
know what I mean? Like I'd skate all day too if I was learning a trick or 2 a day. You know, I wouldn't want to stop either. You know, and then it got to the point where like like I was skating with him a lot. This guy Matt Pym a lot. Chad was on fire. Like all of those guys were on
Did you
fire.
skate with Mike Rafter anytime?
I didn't skate with him as much. That was still around the same time as X21 days.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that too. How sick X21 was, but because of like Brandon and all those guys that I was skating with, and they were killing it. We'd go out and skate Macy's ledges and stuff, just killing it. But there was no filmer. And I was like, dude, there's no way we can, like, these tricks need to be documented. It's almost like they're going to waste. You know? So that's,
you see them all the time. You're like, damn.
So I was trying to get a camera. The VX2000 had come out, and I didn't have the money to get it. But my sister hooked me up. She got a Sony card for me. She co-signed for me, and then I just made payments on it, you know. And so I started filming because I wanted to document the stuff that Brandon was doing. Like he was just doing like some off-the-wall stuff, you know, like doing like switch flip to switch nose manual, you know, and then, you know, fakie flip out. Like at the time, only people that were doing it was Gino and Ronnie Krager.
Yeah.
And then you have Brandon Biebel doing it too.
Ronnie
I'm
Krager,
like, dude.
good lord.
I'm like, dude, who? There's no way we got to be documenting this stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So at the time, I got the camera. I was like, dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this footage, but we got to get it, you know, recording, you know. And then at the time when I got the camera, Brandon had gotten on Expedition. And he didn't need a filmer. Like they had all their own,
they have all their stuff.
Like, at that point, he got pushed into the industry, and he had no problem with any footage or coverage or anything like that. He was like, he was on his way, you know.
He was getting the ads too, and the magazines and everything.
And then, so that's how I got into filming. I got into filming skateboarding, and then from there, I got into editing because you know when you film. Naturally, even though they're two separate things, they're two separate crafts, you know. But filming,
you eventually get into it.
Eventually, you're going to start editing too, you know. But talking about X21, which was that was so sick that you had Rafter on to talk about that. That was like an amazing time in skating because X21 was like the hub for skateboarding of any level, you know. If you're out of town, go there, you know. Like it was like just the place to go if you're like a real skateboarder, you know. It catered to skateboarding. It was basically run by skateboarders, you know. Like that was a really special time, and I really got an understanding of how special it was hearing Rafter talk about it.
Yeah,
you know?
Rafter broke it down in details for a long time.
Like
shout out to Rafter.
Him and Domingo, what they were doing back then was so far beyond ahead of their time. You got to get Domingo up in here too, just because at the time when what they were doing, because you know, like I've heard of Rafter and stuff from being out here and stuff, but I didn't really get to see him much until like the Daily Grind in North Highlands, on Orange Grove, right by Watt Avenue, you know, I-80.
Rippers ripped.
Yeah.
Killed that.
But Mike Rafter and Domingo, they really made filming a thing. Because up until that point, it was just like dad cam, like just buddy cam, you know what I mean? Like you just, okay, just let me point it at you. There was really no filming technique.
Yeah.
Or anything.
They were like roaming with the person and getting.
Well, like everyone else had just a regular 8mm camera, but they had like the Canon 2000 high 8. Yeah. You know, that was like the professional next level camera. They had like a fisheye on it and stuff like that. You know, they were using like a actual editing bay, you know, and I had never seen anything like that before. I was like, dude, how do these guys know about this? What are they doing? Like they made people step up their game as far as if you're going to get some footage, you know, like you better get some real footage.
Yeah.
You know, like get a good camera, get a good lens, film it well, you know.
Edit it well. They're
you know, like, because you know, if you're a skateboarder, that's all you're trying to do. You're not really trying to do anything else. But these dudes were like skating hard, filming it, and then like when they were making like the X21 videos, that was a big deal too, because people weren't making videos. You know, it was like as.
So do you remember when they first came out with their video?
Yeah,
the hype around it, or like
the
people...
flow video.
Yeah.
I didn't hear of that hype, like, cause you know, like, I didn't take filming seriously because it just seemed like stuff that other people did.
Yeah.
You know, so I didn't know like the value of it, like that. If someone asks you to film or anything like that, take that thing seriously. Like, like it doesn't matter how big or small the brand or the company that you're filming for. Treat it like you're filming for Plan B. You know what I mean?
Just go all out.
Yeah, go all out.
Sure.
You know, but when the video dropped, it just blew me away because it made me realize like how many people, good skateboarders there are in Sacramento.
Oh,
but we had people riding for X21 that were from like Grass Valley. You know, like we had Justin Smith and Gennaro Vergaglini. Those dudes were super sick coming out here.
Too, yeah.
But X21 housed a lot of great skateboarders, you know, and Rafter and Domingo put them on display, making those videos.
Yeah,
you know, I think there was like 3 or 4 of those made. And to have someone film, edit it, actually produce it, and put it out from A to Z, that was very rare, you know, back then.
Yeah.
You know, and that made a major contribution to not just skateboarding, but mainly Sacramento skateboarding.
Put it on the map, like
you know,
as a street skate.
and just making it be like a thing. You know, it was very. It made the skateboard community cohesive, where people, even if they weren't from Sac, they were still Sac.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think people really need to understand like what they did for skateboarding back then. Which, you know, when you're that young, you don't really see the value in it. It's just because everyone is young, everyone's trying to be dope, everyone's trying to learn their stuff, everyone's trying to do their thing. I want to get spun, I want to break
now when
through.
you get older, you're like, damn.
And over the years, like, dude, those guys are so ahead of their time doing that stuff, you know? And I'm glad that they did because, like, we still have those videos to look back on and documented, like, an era in skateboarding in general, but in Sacramento skateboarding that... it was just an amazing time, you know, for a place like Sac that was so far removed from the industry. But
yeah, because San Fran and LA were like the mecca of like skateboarding for a long time.
Right. But
Sacramento
then
had
you take a peek into Sacramento and you're like, oh crap, you know, they got some people, they got some dudes. Like we might not have as many people as like San Diego or LA, but the few that we have, they'll chop your head off.
Oh yeah, straight.
You know,
legends,
Matt.
Man. Rick Windsor, all of them.
Rick Windsor, Ronnie Marshall.
Oh God,
you know,
the Inman, all of them. Just there's so much.
You know, John, you know, Mako, like the ones that we had could hold it down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, and then seeing people from Sacramento break through was just like, just an amazing thing. Because I grew up in a time where, you know, you couldn't break through. Not from Sac.
Yeah.
You know.
People, yeah. I would think it was maybe like looked up. Like down on a little bit, Sacramento, because Sacramento wasn't just like it's like whatever.
Dirtbags.
Yeah, it's like here whatever.
You know?
They call it Cowtown or whatever. You know the little nicknames they have for Sacramento. But if you look at it and look at the basis of what Sacramento skateboarders have done, dude, they've done so much.
Right.
It's crazy, especially Cardiel and all of them. And just when you mention Cardiel, it's like straight respect. That's all there is. They don't talk shit about Cardiel. When you hear Cardiel's name, you're just like, okay.
Because he was true to skateboarding the whole way. He never like faked anything, never pretended, never took anything for granted. Always put skateboarding first, you know, like to push skateboarding, you know, and have a good time doing it, you know, and you can see it on and off the board. You know what I mean? Like,
and you can even see it now still. You know, he went through what he went through, but we don't want to talk about that because that's negative crap. We want to talk about what he's doing now. He's still he's still pushing it.
What he did was so great that it created this longevity for him, even though he can't do it anymore.
Definitely.
He's still as well respected and appreciated as if he was still a skateboarder, which you can't do that if you're like off of some fake hype.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he gifted skateboarding so much that he there will always be a slot for him because skateboarding is the way it is by the help of people like that
it's a Hall of Famer.
who at a time when it was so young, for one person to push anything that far, you know, you deserve to be a part of it for the rest of
growing up and just being at the grind and watching everyone from like Chris Sin to Matt Rodriguez to all of them rolling up. It was something that I couldn't understand because I was so little.
Oh yeah.
You see these players, you would see these skateboarders, and I'd just be like, how the hell they do that stuff, and how they go so high? Because it was like they were just blasting, dude. Like it was just speed, boom, and they were just taking off. I was like, goddamn Superman out there.
The rad thing about that back then was the community was so small that you would hear of people even before you met them. Like I was skating for maybe a year. A friend of mine up the street, he skated too, but he wasn't into it like I was. But he goes, "Hey, have you heard of this guy? I think his name is Joe Sierra." I was like, "No." He's like, "I think he's a Hawaiian or something like that, but he's really sick." I was like, "Okay." And then kept hearing his name like over the years. Like I didn't even see him until like 2 years after me skating, 2 or 3 years, but I would hear of him. And then I'd roll up to a spot and they would be like, "Hey, Joe Sierra just left." So I would always just miss him, you know? So he was like this mythological
another one.
whatever, you know, where I never see him, just heard of him. But then the first time I saw him skate, I was like, okay, that's why I know of your name. That's why your name is traveling.
I saw him. I saw him at the grind too.
Know, he was
I skated with Joe 2 days ago.
Oh really?
Yeah, he was just chilling, man. Still a shredder, man. Still a ripper.
Yeah, I don't think some of that stuff will go away.
Yeah,
like,
never.
The stuff he does. So yeah, like hearing about him, like I remember hearing about Matt, like probably heard of his name a year before I even seen him. You know, the first time I saw him, I said, okay, yeah, I see why I know of you. You know what I mean? Like he had it all back then at a time where it was okay to do ugly skateboarding because everything was so new. He was Mach 5, first try, 3 times in a row. That's when you know when you're good. When you can do it first try 3 times in a row.
And he's still the same.
Yeah, you know, like people don't know because they see like he's like all got his dreads, you know, or like he's like Rasta dude. But dude, he used to do like tech skating like you wouldn't believe, dude. Like I don't think he does it anymore just because that stuff is old school to him now because he was so ahead of his time doing it, you know. Switch stuff before it was even called switch. Like he had switchbacks.
He just had one of those smooth styles that when you see it, you're like, damn. Well, he makes it look easy, like the way he's fast.
He was brought up by the right people, you know. He got to
Cardiel.
He was fortunate enough to skate, be around like the Ronnie Marshalls and the Rick Windsors and Sam Cunningham, who made sure he was doing quality skateboarding. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and to have that skill and talent and that drive, but then having like people guiding you as to what dope skateboarding is. You know, like
that certain criteria of how good those people were.
Yeah,
you would just get good
like
just because you're with them.
To have that, you're very lucky. Like even to this day, someone clue you in on like how to do good skateboarding. You know, like to maximize your efforts on the skateboard. You know, like to make sure you deliver.
Someone I think that's like doing that what they did back in the day now is Mal Silas.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry. When I watched him at Mather maybe 2 days ago, and just the way he skates and just the way he pops his tricks, it stands out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you watch him, you're like, Jesus Christ, dude.
When you skate that way, people who do that stuff, tricks don't really matter. It's the way that it's done and the way that it looks.
It's just smooth.
You're like, dude, I can't touch that.
Yeah, it's just smooth and so easy. Effort looking. You know, it's just like when he does it, it looks like he's just like been doing it forever.
Right.
When he does his tricks.
I remember there used to be a contest series back in the day called NCASA, I believe.
NCA?
Northern California Amateurs.
So I think
skateboard.
I think Steve-O ran that. I think Steve ran
it. Yeah. Skated a spine ramp once in San Jose, And the only reason why I entered that contest, never skated a spine ramp before.
Oh, Jesus.
But the fact that there was a vert ramp there, and I went there to enter it so I can get my hands on the vert ramp. Because as a kid, that's what I wanted to be. Was like I wanted to be the Asian T-Hawk or the Asian Danny Way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I wanted. You know, so I was like, I'll enter this contest just so I can skate that vert ramp. You know, and so
did you skate the spine?
Yeah, dude, I had to.
Or did you do good on the spine, or you?
I think I got second place.
Oh, okay.
You know, but back then there was only like 5 people in that category, so your odds of placing are pretty good.
Pretty good.
You know what
I
mean?
Like,
but I remember Matt was already skating, and he was like doing nose grab, tail slides across the whole spine transfer, and I was like, oh, dude, what? And so he pulls up, and I was like, hey. What are you entering under? And he's like, advanced. I was like, cool, dude, because I don't have to deal with you. You know what I mean?
You had a good
so
spot.
I think I was in intermediate, you know, so I was like, okay, I don't have to deal with this guy. And so, and I was so nervous. I remember I was so nervous that when I was doing my run, I couldn't hear anything, and then my hands went numb.
Oh, shit.
I don't know why that would happen, but that's what happened. You know, I was so nervous doing that, but, you know, that was a good time. I learned how to drop it on the vert ramp for the first time there. You know, it was amazing. If you've never dropped it on a vert ramp before, I suggest you do it. There's nothing like it, you know.
I did it so long ago, I don't remember it.
Oh, really?
When kids come up to me, like especially when I'm at a skate park, kids will come up to me and be like, hey, can you teach me how to drop in? To be honest, like
You're
me,
like, no, I can't.
I'm not really a good teacher. So I'm like, you know what? You just gotta stomp your foot down and go forward. I was like, you gotta just keep doing it until you get it. I was like, I don't know how to really. I'm not a teacher, man. I was like in there like, you make it look easy. I was like, dude, I've been doing it.
You gotta be ready for total annihilation.
Yeah.
You know, because the three of me and 2 buddies. Matt Serdich and Gabe Navarro, we were going to drop in on it. But keep in mind, there's pros skating, like Chris Sen was skating and stuff like that. So we got to try to do our thing, you know, get divergenized on this vert ramp while these dudes, you know, Chris Sen's doing Madonna tail grabs, you know.
because they've been doing it for a little bit.
And so Gabe goes to drop in first, and he goes straight down onto his shoulder.
Oh, my God.
And then my other buddy backs out. And then so I go and do it, and I made it first try.
Nice.
But I was like, yeah, I made it, and I look up, and I was like, no, there's another one, you know? But I just sucked up against the vert wall on the vert, you know?
Okay.
But, there's nothing like it, you know?
The first time I dropped in was at the grind.
Oh, really?
It was at the pool upstairs. You know that they had a round pool, you go upstairs, and they had like a wooden pool upstairs. And it had like a center piece, like where the that was the first. I dropped in there with no one around. I just had to do it. I said, dude, I seen other people doing it, and I was like, they stomped their foot down on the front trucks bolts, and they go forward. That's all I knew, dude. Hey, and I did it, and I think I might have fell the first time. I maybe slid out a little bit.
You got lucky.
Yeah, I got lucky. I slid out, and I was like, because it was slippery up there. Right. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it again. I did it, and I just remember, I just remember it now. Jesus Christ. You just brought all that back, dude, because I totally forgot.
How can you forget the first time dropping into the vert ramp? It's like, you know, it's like next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's amazing.
But I used to like skating that. Like, I tried skating it a lot, but, you know, I didn't have money to go to the park. Because to skate vert and to get good at it, you have to skate it every day.
Did you ever go to the grind?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I used to go to the Daily Grind when I was in North Highlands a lot. That was when I was trying to skate vert a lot.
I just begged my dad to always drop me off at the grind because it was in West Sac and we were all the way over by Del Paso Heights.
Right.
So that was a strike for my dad to drop me off, but he would drop me off for 4 hours.
Oh, really?
He'd be like, here. I'm like, come back. I'll call you when I'm ready.
Nice,
Boom.
dude.
That was it.
Yeah, I was the same way getting dropped off, but I can only get dropped off, like, it was $5 to get in. I didn't get allowance or anything like that. I'd save up lunch money, and I was lucky enough to go once a week, but, like, a 1 week gap for skating vert, it sucks because when you go back and skate vert, it's scary again.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, you got to skate it for at least a good 10, 15 minutes to kind of get desensitized to how big and how tall it is, you know. But
vert's nothing to mess around with, man.
You know who was so smart was at the time I didn't find out until like a couple years ago, but Matt Rodriguez used to go out to the Daily Grind a lot. You know, because every time when I went there, he was there. And I always thought he was taking the light rail up from downtown, but I found out that Matt Rodriguez, dude, he had the best gig there at the Daily Grind. Because every time when I would go there, he was there. And I know he was going there more often than I was. But he had this deal, I think it was Nate, one of the people that worked at the Daily Grind, was he would get to skate for free because he was sweeping up their floor.
Oh, okay. So he had a little.
So that was his job, and I would watch him one day, and dude, he would like, I don't know how the square footage of that skate park was pretty big, you know, and he's just running, sweeping up everything. 5 minutes, he's done the whole skate park, and then he's just skating, you know. Yeah. And I was like, dude, I want that gig, you know. Like,
how old was he?
I think I was
Was he a teenager?
Yeah, I think I was maybe like 14, 15-ish. Okay. So he was probably roughly
side
about
hustle
the same. We're roughly about the same age.
Side hustle so he could skate all the time.
Yeah, dude, so smart. You know what I mean? And it was like he had that job locked in. So I was like, I can't go. You know, I'm like, can I go sweep after? You know, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So, but he needed it more than I did. You know, because that helped him sharpen his skills.
Oh,
you know,
God,
like,
yeah, he's got skills.
But yeah, and anything new that came out, he would do it, and like it seemed like it was no big deal for him to learn it, you know.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so those X21 days around that, like skateboarding was so rad, just because like I was starting to learn stuff in skating, like, you know, everyone that I was skating with, like, you know, Hairball and Ped and Mako. And all those guys, like, I looked up to all those guys. Cameron skated, like, he started after me, and I was way better than him when he started, but he surpassed all of us, like, with everything, you know? And being around those guys just made me better. And I was getting to the point where, like, I actually thought I was as good as them because, like, they bumped up my game so much, but I really wasn't as good as them, you know, but I was better off than what I would have been.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just wanting to hang and just like, you know, when one of your boys is trying hard, you're like, dude, I can't bitch out, you know, I gotta put it down
that shit too.
you know.
Yeah.
So like it just made me a better skateboarder, and you know, I was thankful for that, like being able to have this clique of dudes that I was like comfortable with skating around, you know, because I didn't like skating in front of people just because, you know, who really does like that? You know, it takes a special breed of people who can do skateboarding in front of people on demand, especially if, you know, you want to get sponsored and stuff like that. You know, like that's like a skill that I think people don't understand that you have to have, is to be able to skate in front of people.
I hated skating in competitions, but I did.
Oh, dude.
I did. The only competition that I won was the one downtown.
Oh, really?
They had when Velocity was around.
Oh, yeah.
Velocity Board Shop downtown. And they had a demo there, and Cardiel was there. Everybody was there. Brian Sumner from Birdhouse was there, and they had a best trick contest, and I won the best trick contest.
Nice.
And then I had kids running up to me wanting my autograph.
No way.
Dude, I was like, that's the best day.
You're like, I made it.
I know. I was like, that's the best day of my life. Dude, I felt so cool. My brothers were there and stuff. They were watching me, and I was just like signing this. I was just like, what the hell? And then like maybe 10 years after that, I remember being at a skate park, and this older white kid comes up to me. He's like, hey, are you Nathaniel? And I was like, yeah. He goes, when I was little, I saw you win downtown.
That's so sick.
I was like,
and that he remembered.
I was like, dude,
you know what I mean?
I was like, that was a long time ago, dude. He was like,
yeah. You touched my life.
I know.
You know?
I was like, you signed my board. I was like,
that's
man.
so sick, dude.
I was like, yeah. I was like, that was the only one I won. And then I did a whole bunch of ones at 20th and B. And Matt Rodriguez was always the judge.
Right.
And I won like second, I don't know how many times, maybe like 3 or 4 times. And then I was like, God, when are you guys gonna give me like first place? Because I've been trying this so hard.
Right.
I was like, I was done after that. They gave me a whole bunch. I remember the last one I did. He gave me a whole bunch of iPad stuff.
Right.
And I think it was maybe 2003. Right. And that was it. That was my career.
At that, in the early '90s, there was that little time period where they were doing contests, and like me, Aaron, and Cameron, and Gabe, we were all entering contests, and I don't even know why we're really doing it because it's so nerve-wracking. Like
it is.
I would feel like
crazy.
Throwing up.
Yeah,
every time.
I'll get nerves, man. My legs will get shaky. I was like, ugh.
I think we did it mainly. It was a chance to go skate something where they have ramps, and you can go skate it. And you had a chance of maybe winning stuff, and maybe even a chance of like getting hooked up or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because when I did it, it was at the B, and there was only 4 or 5 ramps.
Right.
And they had the big old ramps, like they had like the ones that were maybe 4 feet tall. And I remember the guy who won it, he had like a messed up arm, and what he did, he ollied over the gap. They had a big old gap, right? And I indied over it.
Nice.
I like tweaked it and indied over it.
Nice.
And then I was like, oh, I won this.
Right.
I got second.
Of course. Well,
I was like, Matt, that's all your fault. No, I'm just joking, Matt. Yeah, you did what you had to do. It was cool.
Hey, there's definitely a strategy to winning contests. Like, and I would never think this way.
Yeah.
But like hanging out with Mako because he was good at contests. He would give me like little secrets on his strategy and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, this guy knows how to work it.
Yeah.
Definitely a smart dude when it comes to like the skateboarding.
Oh, for
business,
sure. When he was talking about, when he first won the gold medal and all that stuff, I was just like, dude.
Yeah, I remember when he won that.
And I was like, dude, what the hell? Like, I think a lot of people just don't remember that. But
no, it was so long ago.
It was so long ago. It was a long time ago. But I'm just saying, like, he has a lot of history. It had to have been
like 95, 96.
Yeah,
maybe between 95 and 97 or something like that. But I remember when he got back in town, him and Linda, because they were still living in North Highlands, him and Linda came by, and he had just won X Games. He was like, hey, we're going to go to Bobby McGee's, this like bar and grill type place up in Citrus Heights, and they had dollar shots, or dollar you call it, whatever, any drink for $1. And he had all this money from winning. He's like, we're going out and celebrating. So like they picked me up, and like, I wasn't that big of a drinker then. I'd party here and there, but I wasn't a big drinker. And so his girlfriend was just like ordering different drinks for me to try. So I was just trying all these things. She's like, have you ever had a Long Island? I'm like, no, here's a Long Island. Have you had blah, blah, blah? And all this, and I'm just drinking up.
Was you drunk after?
Dude, that was probably the only time that I can think of where I was hallucinating off of alcohol. Because she was talking to me, and I'm like trying to focus, and her face is just like swirling and stuff, like not just blurry, but like this, like you're twisting, like some special effects, And then I just remember them dropping me off, and I'm just like stumbling through the yard, But yeah, like Mako breaking through like that really tripped me out, because I remember around that same time, a lot of people that I was skating with wasn't really skating anymore, or some of them moved away, So I wasn't skating as much as I wanted to, and I wanted to stay active, so I was like going to the gym, and I was walking through the gym, and I could see in my peripheral vision someone skating on the big screen. I was like, dude, I know who that is. And I turned and looked, and it was Mako on the big screen, his Jumbotron,
That's badass.
At the gym. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Not only is skateboarding on this big screen, but my friend is on here, whatever. But that was.
I think the person I compare to Mako kind of in a sense was Willie Santos.
You mean like contest?
Contest wise,
yeah.
Willie was just so good.
He was
consistent.
And the way that he was doing it was so rad was because he wasn't looked at as like a park skater or a contest skater. No, he was just this sick ass skater that will kick your ass in a contest. You know what I mean?
He was all around skater.
Because back then, being good in a contest, like as far as street stuff, it was very rare for it to be like the same person all the time. Like in vert skating, it was always like Tony Hawk and Christian Hosoi that were always winning.
Yeah, battling.
Always winning, But in street, it would be like a different guy all the time. But as far as Willie Santos, it was like,
so good.
like he would win first place more than once. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Willie Santos. I did an interview with him, man.
Definitely ripper.
Humble dude. One of the best dudes I've ever met.
Sick interview too.
Yeah, he's one of the best dudes I ever met, dude.
So yeah, you know, like because I was lucky enough to know where Go Skate was and then get my board and just loving it. I was able to meet those friends who made it to where I was able to see skateboarding in a way where a lot of people didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
Like I was lucky to be able to find skateboarding at that time and at that age, to where everything was new as a kid, and to have skateboarding be new too, and then see people become who they are and help mold skateboarding to what it is now.
Yeah,
to where
amazing.
You know,
Yeah,
like I see
amazing.
like, you know, people respect Mark Gonzalez, people respect John Cardiel and stuff like that, but I got to see why they're respected. And I'm glad that they're respected. I'm glad that the younger generation, even though
the real history of these
even
people.
though they didn't grow up seeing it, but they understand that these guys played an intricate
for sure.
role in what skateboarding is now.
It's pretty much like our Mount Rushmore of skaters.
Right.
They're so big, dude. They laid the foundation for all the kids that are doing whatever they're doing now.
And they did it at a time where skateboarding was in Sacramento. Sacramento was big amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, like I always thought, you know, skateboarding here was like as big as it could be, but just because there was all core skateboarders who really did it and was down for it and knew what was up with skateboarding. You know, but to have an impact outside of SAC where we contributed to skateboarding in general, you know, that's a big deal.
It impacted worldwide, in a sense. All right, so we're gonna skip forward a little bit. We're gonna go to Ground Zero days. How did all that?
Ground Zero days happened. This is post Mako's broken leg. Okay. When he broke his leg, he fell off the map for I think like 2 years or something, you know. And then I was skating at Woodland. This is around the time when I got my VX 2000, but Brandon was already on his way.
Okay. So he's blowing up.
So he's blown away. So I'm not filming him because he doesn't need me to film. He's already like doing his thing, you know. So like my friend Cameron got back into skating, so I was filming him and just, you know, just learning how to play with the camera and stuff, like trying to film it like how taking it more seriously, like, just like how Rafter and Domingo was doing it in the early '90s. You know, I'm like I want to be good at this.
Yeah, you want to do it for sure.
And then so one day at Woodland, this is before Nigel's dad bought it. You know, this is when Wes owned it. I see Mako. I was like, Mako, dude, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, dude, I'm back. I'm like, sick, dude. I was like, hey, I got a camera. When I said I had a camera, his eyes just lit up.
He's like,
dude, I'm getting your number right now, you know. I'm like, page me. I had a pager back then. I was like, just page me, dude. And so, and sure enough, like, he hits me up, and then we just clicked again, and we just hung out, you know. See, Mako is really smart about, like, how he went about his goals, you know, because he wanted to get back in the industry. I think his goal was to get his board model back, be pro again. You know, like you know, just be sponsored and do his thing again. You know, and he knew that the skate shops were the hub for everything, because that's where the customer and the manufacturer, the product, that's where everything meets. That's where everything changes hands, you know. That's where you're going to know about the industry without having to be in the industry. You can learn everything through the skate shop. You know, if you're connected to the skate shop, you're connected to all the companies.
Yeah, the industry,
you know what I mean? So he wanted to start a team. I had no idea at this point, I had no idea what he was trying to do. You know, so he was like, picked up me and Cameron, and then we were driving, and then one day he's like, we're going to Ground Zero. I was like, okay. And he's like, we're going to get him to start a team. I was like, okay, who's going to be in this team, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, it's gonna be us. I was like, dude, I'm like 20 something. I'm not trying to get sponsored. Dude, I'm lucky I'm still skating, you know. And so, anyways, they say no, and Mako doesn't take no for an answer. And so he comes back. We got this deal. We're gonna do this. We'll build a skate team for you. Blah blah blah. We'll make boards, all this and that. They're like, yeah, sure, whatever. But we start doing it, and he starts piecing people together, you know, filming all this and that, like, and they were like, okay.
Yeah.
They let us build the team, you know, and from there, you know, at this point, I'm just helping Mako do his things. Like, my friend wants to do this, you know, I'm going to help him, whatever I can help with, you know. So we got the video, we got the editing, I had some design capabilities, you know, and then we were just doing that, and then we were just doing our thing, and then gradually it just became a thing, you know, and then people wanted to ride for it, for the team and stuff like that. It was a great time. A lot of people. It was like the next wave of young people coming out too. You know, because during the time we were doing that, Flat Spot came about too.
Yeah.
You know, and then I just stuck with them, and then it just became this thing where it was like a legit team. You know, and it was fun to be a part of it. You know, it ran its course. Things kind of
They kind of just go down a little bit after a while.
Yeah, you know, like you know, me and Mako kind of had a falling out at the end, but I think a part of it was misunderstanding, you know. But for me, it was like I was just drained, putting in a lot of work to showcase everyone, you know, try to make everyone look as cool as I could make them, you know, to showcase their talent in the way that it should have been, you know, was my goal when we made the videos and stuff, you know. But in the end, it didn't work out. I don't really think it was anyone's fault, you know. At the time, it might have looked like one person's fault or another, but a lot of it I know had. But there was
a lot of good stuff that came out of it.
Of course, sure. Oh, I wouldn't change it for the world. Like. I learned like a lot of good work ethics from Mako. So one thing that I really admired about Mako was he was very self-motivated. Like when he puts his mind to something, he just didn't talk about it. The next day he's doing it.
Yeah.
You know, like he was like, if I had an idea, I'm like, yeah, we should do this and this and this. The next day he's like, I got the stuff, let's do it. I'm like, what? I was just, you know, I didn't think we were gonna actually do it. You know what I mean? And he used to always tell me, he's like, dude, like when we make a board design, and I would be like, no, it's got to be perfect. And he would always be like, Danger, just get the job done. Like the owner doesn't care about that part that you're talking about. They have a deadline, and meet the deadline, get it done, and we can move on. You know, and that's a major thing that I learned is like satisfy the person that you're working with, just get the job done. They don't care about these tiny little things that you care about. Because you worry about it too much.
And maybe you're just like overthinking stuff or whatnot.
If you're trying to get it too perfect, what happens is it never gets done. It's better to have something that you can work with, even if it's not perfect, than have something that's so perfect that it's never done and nothing ever becomes of it.
That's true.
You know, and that was like a major thing that I learned from him that's very valuable, that I still I adopted it and I use it to this day. It's helped me with American Cream.
Yeah. I'm going to American Cream now. How did that form?
It formed because I didn't want to have a regular job and I didn't want to work. I was like, dude, because me and Chad was originally Chad Lunsford was gonna be with me with this, you know, partner with me, and we're like, dude, we just want to, you know, lay on a hammock next to a vert ramp and just do that all day. I want to skate and chill. And how we're going to do that? We need to start a company it could pay us, you know. It's not knowing how much work goes into it, you know, because we're stupid. You know what I mean? We're just stupid and lazy and just wanted only the good parts. You know what I mean?
Didn't want to hustle or anything.
No, you know. And so I started something in 1998. But the first name that I started, I had to start over, and I'm not even going to tell you what the name was because it's so embarrassing. It's so stupid. But so the second name that I went with was called Kinetic. I just needed to have a name so I can attach the designs and the brand around and make it a thing. You know, and so I just like, okay, that sounds like a cool name. I'll use that. A year or two into it, I find out that.
Someone has it?
Someone has it. Two other brands, one in Canada and one somewhere else. I was like, dude, I'm just gonna start over, you know. And then I start over, and I was like, I gotta think of something. I thought of it when I was with Mako when we were like on a road trip. And I was like, dude, I just gotta think of a name that no one else is using, so that way I can just not have to deal with it, you know. And I was like, I came up with a name. It's called Technar because the skateboarding is tech and it's gnar. So I was like, it's Technar, and he's like, yeah, dude, that's pretty sick, dude. Let's do it, you know. And then only to find out there's a skate shop in Texas named Technar.
Jesus.
I think they spelled it differently,
but it's still
Technar.
Yeah, it's still Technar.
And like from what I heard, they didn't mess around. They would sue you because me and Mako were at the trade show one time, and he was talking to Jeff Kendall, and I was wearing a Technar shirt, and he was like, he stops talking to Mako and goes, hey, Technar, are you from Texas? I was like, no. He's like, okay, because, you know, they try to sue us because I guess Santa Cruz is trying to run an ad where it said Technar, and the skate shop sent them a cease and desist, or you know, they were going to sue them.
So it's real.
And I was like, no way, dude, I got to start over again.
Another name.
And so I just, and the crazy thing was, like, there was people repping it. Richard Angelides was wearing one of them in one of the KO promos back in the day, you know. But so I was like, that went on the back burner because at the time I was filming skateboarding a lot, you know, and stuff. So I was filming and skating, and so it was just in the back burner. And then at the time when my wife was pregnant with my son, which was like 2007, I was almost just filming and just barely skating, you know. So I just backed out of skateboarding. I need to be staying home with my pregnant wife, kid's gonna come.
Yeah, like it's serious, right?
Yeah, you know.
Life.
And like I love. I'll sit there and say I love skateboarding more than anyone. Like I've fought in the streets with Mako, you know, because of skateboarding. You know, like we don't want to get too into that, but like I've literally got into altercations with people in the streets with Mako because of skateboarding. You know, and so. I was like, I got to do something with this brand. So I thought of a name. There was a brand back in the early 90s, early to mid 90s called Cream. And I don't know who started it, but it had Rick Ibaceta on it, which a skateboarder that used to be on New Deal and stuff. And like it was one of the dudes that I looked up to. And I always thought that name was rad. But the company went out of business, and I always wanted to use that name. But I knew if I used it, people my age or around that era would know, oh, he stole their name, you know.
Jack their stuff.
So I was like, dude, but I like that name so much, you know. And I was like, well, you know, I'm trying to get that cream, just like, you know, Cash rules everything around me, you know, like Wu-Tang, you know. I was like, well, I'm trying to get that American money, so I was like, I'll just call it American Cream. And come to find out that that trademark was available. So I trademarked it. So, you know, I was like, the name was just good enough for me to use because, remember, I just need a name so I can make designs and just pump out this product, you know, like just make this thing. And then so, and then I was running into people, they're like, hey, that name's pretty sick, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, cool, you know. And then I just kept at it. And then, you know, it just gradually just became, you know, became what it is now.
It's dope.
You know, it was all because of just not giving up. And American Cream is a product of me, of myself, but I'm a product of skateboarding.
Yeah.
So everything that I've learned from skateboarding, I just kind of put into this because I grew up looking like when I was drawing, I would mimic, you know, Japanese anime, comic books like Spider-Man, but for the most part though, skateboard graphics. Looking at Powell graphics all day long, trying to do that, you know, like like a New Deal graphics, you know, like Andy Howell's stuff.
Yeah, something different that
You
stands
know,
out.
and I just love skateboarding and like the different style, the different angle and approach that skateboarding took, putting out artwork, you know, and I was, you know, I'm like a disciple of that, you know, so my graphics.
Well, you got good history behind it, man.
Yeah, you know, and I'm
Major
thankful,
history.
you know, like skateboard graphics are like no other, especially the stuff from back in the 80s and 90s, you know, are like no other. And that's what I looked up to. I loved all that stuff, and it you might be able to see it in some of my designs.
Definitely.
You know, especially with the SACTO stuff that I do.
Not a SACTO.
You know, like I see a lot of people doing SACTO or Sacramento stuff, but you know, I grew up in the era of the dudes I was looking up to were like just dirtbag Hessians. you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like I never tried to be anything like that. I was just in awe of it and just liked knowing that that's what the SACTO culture was. You know, and I'm just glad that I grew up around it. And that part, like, I always feel like some of my designs, I have to pay respect to that.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's what SACTO was about. Was like these dudes who didn't care if people cared about SACTO. We cared about SACTO and cared about skateboarding. SACTO and skateboarding was job one.
Skateboarding roots, straight up.
You know what I mean? Like everything else was like secondary.
Secondary, yeah.
You know, and that's
kind of why I support it too, because ever since I met Min, it's just all about, you know, American Cream. It's a dope brand, and you should support it for real.
I appreciate it.
It's 100%, man. It's 100% Sacramento, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, I love getting the support. Like I just try to put out stuff that is fun, but has some thought put into it. You know, I'm not trying to put out anything whack. You know, but you know, you can't put out bangers all the time.
Yeah,
you just
that's true.
put out what you think.
Yeah, put out what you
like and what you think people will like.
Especially the new one, the Wu-Tang one is bad. Protect your neck.
Right.
You know, look at that.
Yeah, that was fun. We got Wu-Tang approval from that. You know, I can't believe that. You know, like just that alone was a big deal.
American Cream Company, AmericanCreamCode.com, right? Is that
AmericanCream.co. Because the .com was taken right now, but we're working on that. Like someone bought the name, and there's.
I'll put it all in the description too, so you can see it all and support Sacramento, man.
Yeah, for sure. And what we're doing now too is like we're in a couple of stores, but we're concentrating on direct sales right now. I got a homie, a super sick artist by the name of Mammoth. Really good artist. He does customs for people, but he's jumped on board, and you know he delivers. You know, like we're like pizza. like a pizza place. You call it. You get delivered to you.
Even he's even came to my house, man, with a hoodie. So
yeah, dude.
Totally
we
appreciate
do that
that,
stuff.
man.
You know that
dope,
we got the delivery service. You know
yeah,
what I
bro.
mean? Like,
that's tight.
You know, it's. I've been doing this for so long, like under the radar for a while, just because I had to start over like a lot. You know.
Yeah.
But I'm not going away.
Oh no.
You know
Don't
what I
go
mean?
away.
Like, I've been through a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like I started mine the same year that LRG and Diamond started. You know, and I'm, but a lot of it I was doing it by myself. You know, and a lot of it I didn't know how to get it out there. You know, like the first 10 years of it was just me like realizing that I didn't know what I needed to know. Not knowing what to do. I got this down. I'm just trying to make these designs. I don't even know how to get it out there. You know what I mean? I'm still skating and filming. Like I just got this thing where people want.
It's pretty much like you're learning.
And it was like more so like the creative outlet of just making stuff. Not even knowing where to put it out, you know, and when people wanting to buy it, I can't even believe they want to buy it. You know, I'm like, what do I do now?
It's dope as hell.
You know, and then like. The last 10 years is when it really clicked, when I really started to sit down. I started reading books on wealthy people and how they operate, and trying to change my business mind, and learning about how the money system works. And I was like, holy crap, I get it. You know what I mean? Like understanding,
kind of like opened your eyes a little bit to
like really understanding the difference between poor people and rich people, and there's not that much separating the difference between the two, other that one decides to go and get it and the other doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a really important thing, and that's why like when people come to me about American Cream, wanting to collab or needing help getting this stuff made or getting designs made, I help them because I know how hard it is. Like I was alone a lot of
books and whatnot, and
yeah,
learning.
like once I learned about the money system and how it works and how people see it, like it shifted everything, and it made it to where I was able to build have a path on how I was going to do it. You know what I mean? And you know, I help people along the way. It makes it harder for me, but at the same time, it's like that's what it's about. You know, like helping people.
Yeah,
and
definitely helps people.
And that's part of what my brand is about too. It's just I wanted people to associate it as far as, you know, it's coming from a skateboarder. It might not necessarily be looked at as a skateboarding brand.
Yeah.
But everything that comes from it comes from skateboarding.
Like a skateboarding mentality.
You know, I'm a product of skateboarding, and whatever I make is a derivative of that. You know, so whether I like it or not, it has skateboarding roots. You know, and there's no way around it. And I just try to put out the best stuff that I can, and have a good time doing it. You know. And that's why, like, when I saw what you're doing, I was like, dude, that's so sick, because no one's doing that.
Yeah.
And like, I can tell that you've never done anything like this before.
Never. I'm still rookie.
And you're like, I don't care. That's the thing.
No, yeah. I was like, you know, like, fuck it, I'm gonna keep doing it.
The first one I saw was the one with Matt, and I was like, dude, this guy is sick. He doesn't care. He's just doing it. You know what I mean? Like,
when I did Matt's, the first one, I was just like, dude, I'm nervous. I might shit my pants. I told everyone straight up, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, dude, I like this guy already, because that's what it takes, you know, because there's probably someone out there watching right now that wants to do something either like what you're doing,
and
or
if they
what
did,
I'm doing.
I encourage them. Do it.
Yeah, or it doesn't even have to be anything related to skateboarding.
Yeah,
you want to start an online business, or you want to, you know, start a bakery, you want to braid hair, whatever it is, be a barber, whatever.
Anything you like and love,
go
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, if you love it, learn how to wrap a business around it and to just do it. And all it takes is just reading up about it, being around people that do it. You have Google. You know, you have the internet. You have everything that you need in your phone and at your fingertips. All you have to do is do some research.
It's not like it's back in the day when you had to go actually to the library and look in books.
Yeah,
you know, it's so easy to do.
And like, if you don't know what it's called, how are you gonna find it? True. You know what I mean? You're like, this thingy, you know?
Yeah, you don't know. Like Google, Jesus.
But if you Google, you type in enough words, you'll find it, and then it'll lead you to it.
The internet's made
like,
stuff a lot
easier. Back then, you're like, what, the yellow pages, and it's only local. You know what I mean? You're like, you don't even know what it's called. How are you gonna find it? You know?
Yeah, but I just think the internet game has changed. You have
no excuse nowadays to where...
But I tell people too, like, you know, when they ask me about my podcast and whatnot, I'm just like, they're like, why do you do it? And I goes, I do it because I've been thinking about it for so many years. I should have done it maybe when I was in my 20s, but I don't care what age I'm at. I was like, I just like doing it, man. It's a great hobby. It's just getting Sacramento history out there that maybe nobody knew about. Right. You know, and there people. A lot of the skateboarders that are in Sacramento know the history, but those are only like a select few that know everything. But I think
you need to know the details.
Yeah, know the details of like some people.
You need to know the details on why John Cardiel is so rad. Not even just by the tricks that he did, but the tricks that he didn't do. We used to trip out on the fact that he would try something that he never tried before, almost die, and roll out of it. And land up back on his feet, and you're like, wait, what just happened? He was supposed to be dead.
It's amazing.
You know, you're like, he just flipped. He's flipping around like a cat up in the air. He should be like have a broken neck, but he landed on his feet and walked away.
Yeah, but that's like you or your business. You only live once, man. You got to just try something. You got to go for it. Hey, if it don't work, it don't work. But at the same time,
if it doesn't work, figure it out and make it work.
Yeah,
that's
make
the
it work.
thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like, if you can, especially if you're a skateboarder and you want to do something, you want to start your own company, whatever, do it, because when you fail, it doesn't hurt anything. But when you fail on a skate, you land primo down some stairs on a skateboard, that hurts.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you quit and don't ever do it again, then you really failed.
Right, yeah,
You know
that's
what I
the
mean?
thing. It's like each time when it's just the same as like trying, like, you know, say like you're learning a 360 flip. Each time you bail, you figure out, okay, I need to whip it more, flick it less, or whatever. It's
my favorite trick.
You know what I mean? But each time you mess up, you understand, you get something out of that mistake. You know, either you're doing this too much or not enough of this, and each time you modify it. It's the same with starting a business or starting a company. Is that, okay, I tried this, I went with kinetic, it didn't work. Okay, I went with techno, it didn't work. Okay, finally, you know, I could have given up on those two, and like,
I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. I don't
and then I did this, and it stuck. I was able to get a trademark, and then I just kept at it for doing it for a couple of years, because remember, at this point, when I started American Cream, I was backed off of skating and filming. I was at home with a new child. I wasn't watching TV or anything. I was like, family, brand. And then I was like, dude, how do I get this out here? Now that I have the product, how do I get it now? I'm only halfway there. Now I got to sell it. How do I get it out there, you know? So I was like, oh, damn it. I guess I'll figure out Facebook, you know? And then I linked up on Facebook, and my first design that I dropped on Facebook, I didn't even know how to use it. You know, I was like, and the one person that I knew that I met through Ground Zero was Apollo, and you know how Apollo, like, everyone knows him, and he knows everyone. So I was like, dude, if I can get Apollo to help get the brand out there. But I hadn't talked to him in a couple years since.
Apollo's the folks, man. Just did an interview with him. Shout out.
Dude, I've known him since he was like 14, 15, you know? But, so, I stopped the Ground Zero thing around 2005. My son was born in 2008, so there's a 3-year gap there of me being in limbo. And then so now I have the trademark. Now I got a product to put out there, so I'm like, now what do I do? You know what I mean? And so that's when I set up a Facebook account, and I was like, I just posted the shirt, and I was like, what do I do now? I guess I just wait. And then and sure enough, the first comment I got was Apollo. I hadn't talked to him in 3 years, and he just commented, need that. You know
what I always use.
and then I was like, okay, let's link up. And I linked up with him, and he's like, hey dude, I can help you get this out there. So I packaged up a bunch of stuff, and I was like, here you go, just get it out there. Like, if you can sell it and keep the money for yourself, or you want to give it out, just do that, you know. And then, like, that just kind of helped the gears just go move just a little bit, but just that little bit of movement was enough for me to, like, just kind of
keep going,
you know, and like just not give up. And then
he even gave you a shout out too.
Oh really?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, nice, dude. But yeah, Apollo, doing your thing.
He did.
He's everywhere.
He's in New York right now.
Yeah, you know.
Boy's doing
you know, living his best life.
Doing the rap thing
living
too.
Mine and yours best life too at the same time. But ultimately, what I learned was, even though he helped, you know, and when I was starting, I was like, I got some people that I know that's got eyes on them, that know that are connected with people that could help get their brand out there. But it didn't work out that way, just because I think what was meant to be was all this stuff that I was hoping people would help out with. I needed to do it. I needed to learn. I needed to learn how to do these things myself that I thought other people could help with. You know, like someone who maybe like I could name drop. So and so is repping my stuff or all this and that, and it's not fair for me to put that responsibility on someone else.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, like if I have something that's really true and it's like a good brand and it's really worth the money. I should back it. I shouldn't have someone else go back it for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like, that's a weak mentality, you know. And I learned that. I was like, you know what? I need to be the one to stand behind my brand and push it out there and let people realize.
Be the leader of your brand and
right,
and people know like, yo, you're pushing it yourself.
And it's like, just don't be afraid to believe in what you're doing and just do it. You know, because you're always going to have people that don't like it, and it doesn't mean that they hate it. It just means like that might not be their style.
Because
they might not like it.
Yeah, even people like now, I've got emails, I got hate mail. You know, I got a lot of stuff that's I look at it and I just read, and people go, "Oh, why are you doing this? You suck at doing this. You're horrible. You should stop interviewing people because you don't know what you're doing." And I just laugh.
But you know,
I really laugh.
And you know what's funny? Even if that stuff is true, that's not stopping you. You still getting to do what you want to do, and that's the whole point of it. Is it's like no one can stop you. All you have to do it. And the thing is, it's like anything that you do, you're learning from it. Each time that you do it, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Yeah. You do it more than once. You do it consistently. You're going to get better at it. It doesn't matter what
I'm still awkward as shit. I know I am, but I'm not. No one's perfect. You know, people say, "Oh, you interview blah 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 blah," but dude, no one's perfect at anything. I just do it because I love it. I love skateboarding. I love skateboarding ever since 1990, and I'll never stop.
Yeah, you're going to look back in 10 years of doing this, and you're going to be like, you can see it, but then you can see how far you've come and how better you've gotten. You're going to be a pro at this, you know. And I'm
not doing it to make a whole bunch of money or get crazy sponsors. I'm doing it because all I do, like love is skateboarding. I love skateboarding.
Me too.
That's it. And that's the core of what I want.
That's why I started my thing, because I was like, you know, no matter what happens, I get to be around skateboarding somehow.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I love the fact that, you know, our stuff is in Boulevard. You know, thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Todd. Boulevard Skate Shop,
Mel,
baby.
And Joey for you know, supporting
all the good
American
folks.
Cream and letting me be in there. You know,
your stand's hella tight, dude. That stand's badass.
And like that stand, dude, like whatever that you're doing, improvise and put some thought into it. Like that's, you know, what's funny is that stand was originally in Boulevard that Todd gave to me because it was taking up too much space. It used to be a Volcom stand.
Oh, really?
And he's like, dude, you want to take this? You know, it's taking up too much space. And I was like, sure. I know at some point I could use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when he said that he was moving the store into the back, and then I saw, you know how like the wall is set in right there? I was like, dude, that would be a perfect spot for that stand that he gave me.
It's perfect.
So I went through and I sanded that thing down, primered it, spray painted it, and I had the metal skull dog cut out, you know, and I rigged it to fit in the back, so it looks like I went and had someone fabricate it, but it's actually a Volcom stand, which I know they paid a lot of money to have it made, you know, and then I just made it mine by fastening my stuff onto it, you know. And then I just made it mine, you know, and I got it for free, you know.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And Todd tried to get rid of it, but it's back in the store, you know, living its second life. But, you know, stuff like that, just improvising, working with what you have and making the most out of what you have and making it better than what it is.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of what my brand is making stuff out of what was available to me, you know. And just putting a lot of effort into it and just trying to make it to where it's a quality product that...
No, definitely it's quality.
That I can put out the best.
I wear it all the time. I probably have... I can't even count how much stuff I have.
And thank you for the support. You know,
I seriously probably have about 10 pieces. I got hoodies, I got shirts, long sleeve, short sleeve. Dude, they're good stuff, man. So support it. But, all right, guest shout out. Any shout outs you want to give?
Shout out to Mammoth, to TBC, Abstract Ninja, Chewy, my wife, Allie, my whole family. Shout out to, let's see, Todd, Mel, and Joey at Boulevard. Shout out to Lance at Leave Your Mark. Shout out to Black Diamond. I wish I would have written this down. I didn't think that far.
It's all good.
You know, but anyone that that feels that they should be thanked by me, I thank you.
There you go.
You know, yeah, we're gonna keep doing our thing. Definitely not going away.
Never.
You know, like
going out.
when I do my designs, I do it with the intent of like just putting out something great, but at the same time I'm battling every brand out there, so I'm just out there to chop heads. You know what I mean? Like I make stuff, put it out there, and before you have a chance to like it or not, I'm already on to the next. You know, like
yes.
I'm sitting on like a lot of stuff that I haven't even put out yet. You know, just because I do pretty much everything myself. You know,
basically what I do.
Yeah, you know, from concept to design to printing to packaging, it's all done by me. So if you like the brand and you like what I'm doing, get it while you can before I outsource to China. You know,
100% Sacramento, man. For real.
But anyways, yeah, thank you so much for inviting me and
no, we thank you. Thank you, man. Of course, I appreciate it, man.
And I want to come back. You know, I don't want this to be a one-time thing. We come back with updates with the brand and stuff.
We do a part 2.
Yeah, I want to come back like every 2 months or something like that. You know what I mean? I'll pop in.
Get like another.
Give you updates.
But yeah, man. We'd like to thank man. This is American Cream Company owner. He's the man. He's a great dude, humble guy. Ever since I met him, and support him, support his brand. It's 100% SACTO, and I like to give a little shout out to the companies who support my show. Boulevard Skate Shop, you know, Todd, Inman, American Cream Company right here, Willie's Workshop, and Esla Boom, and PLA, and even Lines Skateboarding Shop that's over at Bather. Support all SACTO stuff, man. It's a bunch of great people that are doing a lot for Sacramento. And just go out there and buy the brands, man, and support.
Can't go wrong.
And support. That's it. All right, we out.